1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Aisha Nayab. First, the headlines. Prime Minister has underscored the importance of deepening economic engagement between Pakistan and Turkey to strengthen investment relations. Pakistan and Turkey have agreed to constitute a joint task force to develop a comprehensive roadmap covering issues connected to bilateral trade. Pakistan and Qatar have agreed to continue close cooperation in energy, trade and investment fields. At the United Nations, Pakistan has called for safeguarding the legitimate rights of states to use dual-use technologies for peaceful purposes. All Parties Hurriyat Conference has strongly condemned the surge in Indian state terrorism in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The US President has announced to send more advanced rocket systems to Ukraine. Pakistan women beat Sri Lanka by 8 wickets in the first one-day international in Karachi today. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has underscored the importance of deepening economic engagement and realizing the true potential of business, trade and investment between Pakistan and Turkey. Talking to Turkish Minister of Trade Dr. Mehmet Murth in Ankara today, he said his visit to Turkey included engagement with Turkish business community in order to focus on strengthening trade and investment relations. Prime Minister highlighted the importance of early finalization of trade in goods agreement, which would open up new opportunities to boost bilateral trade across various sectors to the benefit of both economies and countries. He underlined that business community from both sides must expand their networking and explore new opportunities for joint ventures. The two sides agreed to constitute a joint task force under coordination of a Turkish Ministry of Trade and Ministry of Commerce, Pakistan, to develop a comprehensive roadmap covering issues connected to bilateral trade, including logistics, banking, customs and agriculture. Turkish Minister for Trade Dr. Mehmet Murth agreed with the Prime Minister on realizing true potential of the trade between the two countries and assured of full cooperation in this regard. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif held separate meetings with leading Turkish companies who have invested in Pakistan, including Siyah Kalim, Arçelik, Zorlu, Hayati Kimya, Özpak, Al Bayrak in Ankara today. The Prime Minister invited them to benefit from investment-friendly environment in Pakistan and considering expanding their operations. Turkish companies briefed the Prime Minister on their existing and future plans of investment and thanked Shahbaz Sharif for felicitating their operation in Pakistan. Qatari Ambassador Sheikh Saud Abdurrahman Al Thani called on Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Narabani Kar in Islamabad today. They exchanged views on regional and international issues of mutual interest. The two sides agreed to continue close cooperation in energy, trade and investment fields. A 2-day Stockholm Plus 50 International Conference on Climate Change begins in Sweden tomorrow. Minister for Climate Change Senator Sri Rahman will represent Pakistan in the conference. The conference will discuss ways to ensure implementation of the Stockholm Plus 50 conventions and tackle the current climate catastrophe. The government has decided to modernize Islamabad's safe city on the pattern of Lahore to ensure foolproof security of federal capital. A decision to this respect was taken at a meeting chaired by Interior Minister Rana Sanaullah in Islamabad today. The meeting also decided to ensure 100% coverage of cameras to curb street crimes and ensure law and order in Islamabad. The meeting approved provision of additional financial, technical resources and support to Islamabad Police and Frontier Constabulary for their operational capacity building. It was consented to bring salaries and allowances of Islamabad Police at par with the Punjab Police. It approved immediate payment of the outstanding amount of 1 billion rupees martyrs package for the Islamabad police and bringing salaries and allowances of Frontier Constabulary and Martyrs package at par with Khyber Pakhtunkhwa police. Speaking on the occasion, Rana Sanallah said it has been decided to establish a coordination mechanism between the police and the administration, the twin cities, as country cannot be left on mercy of miscreants and gangs. This is Radio Pakistan. At the United Nations, Pakistan has called for safeguarding the legitimate rights of states to use dual-use technologies for peaceful purposes. This was stated by Pakistani delegate Gul Kaisar during consultations on the review of UN Security Council Resolution 1540. That resolution, adopted by 15-member Council in 2004, required that all countries of the world take steps to protect against very serious threats of terrorists or any other non-state actors acquiring and potentially using weapons of mass destruction. Gul Kaisar said Pakistan has successfully implemented Resolution 1540 and outlined legislative, regulatory, administrative and organizational steps taken in that regard. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Indian troops in their continued acts of state terrorism martyred 32 Kashmiris during the last month in the Held Valley. According to Kashmir Media Service, at least 26 people were injured due to the use of brute force, including tear gas shelling by the troops in the territory. Indian police and paramilitary personnel arrested 92 people, mostly youth, and destroyed 3 residential houses during 180 cordon and search operations in different areas of the territory. Meanwhile, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference spokesman has strongly condemned the surge in Indian state terrorism in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In a statement issued in Srinagar, he appealed to the international community to take cognizance of the grave human rights situation in the occupied territory and play a role in the resolution of the Kashmir dispute to save the Kashmiris from the Indian wrath. In India, Hindutva forces are now eyeing on the main Jamia Masjid in Bhopal city to demolish it on the pretext that it was built on a Hindu temple. According to reports, an extremist Hindu organization, Sanskriti Bachao Manch, has sent a memorandum to the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah demanding an archaeological survey of the historic mosque. United States President Joe Biden has announced that America will send Ukraine more advanced rocket systems to help it defend itself. In an essay published in the New York Times, he said that more advanced rocket systems and ammunition will enable Ukrainians to more precisely strike key targets on the battlefield in Ukraine. Until now, the US had refused the request out of fear the weapons could be used against targets in Russia. Meanwhile, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has said that the US is directly and intentionally adding fuel to the fire with its weapons deliveries to Ukraine. In another development, Russia had warned that the world could be on the verge of a major food crisis because of illegal restrictions imposed on Russia by Western countries. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas says the United States has to turn its words regarding the Middle East conflict into deeds. Talking to U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken telephonically, he said the current situation cannot be tolerated amid the absence of a political horizon and an international protection of our people. In Mexico, at least 11 people have been killed and over 20 missing after Hurricane Agatha struck Oaxaca state. Agatha made landfall as a Category 2 hurricane and strongest to hit Mexico's Pacific coast in the month of May since records began in 1949. Pakistan women beat Sri Lanka by 8 wickets in the first ODI of 3-match series at Karachi today. Batting first, Sri Lanka were all out and 169 runs in 47.5 overs. In reply, Pakistan achieved the target in 41.5 overs for the loss of 2 wickets. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and dry weather is expected in most plain areas of the country, while very hot in South Punjab and Upper Sindh during the next 12 hours. However, rain, thunderstorm with gusty and dust-raising winds are likely at few places in Gilgit-Baltistan, Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Islamabad and Upper Punjab. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.